Welcome, welcome, welcome. It is week 10. We've made it to double digits of Meat Sweats Menopause. I'm Joe Gleason, the Midwestern man, and with me is my beautiful partner and partner in crime with the Meat Sweats and Menopause podcast, Kirsty the Brit Chick. Welcome aboard.
Hello, hello. How you all doing?
Hello, everybody. 10 weeks of this nonsense.
I know, right? Can you believe it? I can't believe we've actually stuck to something for 10 weeks.
I know, like we have good ideas, like, you know, picking the weeds in the backyard, and like then they just the ideas kind of come and go, and then, you know, here we are.
Right?
So
why can't we be this regular with things like laundry and cleaning and stuff like that? I guess we're in our joy here. We enjoy this. This is what we do. We do this anyway, right? At home. We just figured we'd just let everybody else in.
yeah. And that's really kind of the thing, right? Like we the whole idea of this is that it's through the lens of Gen X, even though it's not necessarily all about Gen X, but it's Meat Sweats and Menopause was inspired by just kind of the stuff that happens to folks when you're middle-aged and, you know, the Meat Sweats Menopause. And so, it's what the feedback we're getting from folks is that it's just fun. It kind of feels like, and I love this, it just feels like we're all hanging out and having an adult beverage, and which you can't see. Oh, there we go. We're all having an adult beverage together and just talking shop and having a little fun. So this isn't super scripted. It's pretty, we have outlines of ideas.
That's an understatement.
Right. Yeah, so basically it's just, audience driven. And so we really rely on all of you guys to help us keep the conversation going and have some fun. And it's always great to connect. Brad, Darla, it is 100 here, or damn close to it. It got to 105 over the weekend, which broke all kinds of records. Insanely warm. We were outside quite a bit too. And so it was really hot for this time of year. And what is it there? What's the Midwest doing right now? What do you guys got? Like 70 or something? That sounds amazing.
In Calgary, in my hometown in Canada, they had a snow dump. There's like a foot of snow everywhere that came overnight. So all the roads are crazy. Houses are buried. It's a nightmare. So, you know.
Jeremy, what's up, buddy? Yeah, sourdough. I made some the other day, but I had a little bit of a mishap. The parchment paper stuck to the bottom, so it's not giveawayable, but it's tasty. So when you guys get back, right?
Get the paper out.
There you go. You can just cut it off. That's what I do. I just cut the bottom crust off.
I was too hungry. I just ate it. I was just like.
Yeah, and Jeremy, when you guys let me know when you come back, you'll have some on standby. So just let me know so I can get my starter all timed, because it's a whole process. So if you'd like to hear about it, I've got a lot of just.
I don't think we've ever got through an episode without mentioning sourdough. So
it's kind of the the third host of our show here, right? Like the whole sourdough. Yeah. Yeah.
What other hobbies do people have? I definitely will reach out. Yes, you do that, Jeremy.
And if you've got any experimental like flavors that you want, like I'm down for trying new things. I just, the only thing I've really done is the jalapeno and cheddar that I gave to you guys, and then we've done the raisin and cinnamon one a few times, but otherwise
it's my favorite without a doubt. Raisin and cinnamon is amazing. But the jalapeno one you did, oh my god, it looked amazing, but obviously we didn't taste it because you got it, Jeremy. Was it any good? The jalapeno one and cheddar? It looked delicious.
Yeah.
What was that? Oh, I did it for 2 weeks and then it killed my starter.
Oh, nice. So I think I might be able to mail you. I think there's a way to like mail like starter chips or something. I'll ask Sourdough Sue when she's on.
Yeah. She said just like dry it out, right? Or put, did she say freeze it? You can freeze it. No, how would you do it? You would just, do you remember? You just like spread it out with a brush on a tray. So it's like really thin and then it goes hard. And then you put all of the crust and chips into a jar. And then you can enliven it.
What could go wrong? It's like, who is that crazy dude that like mailed stuff in the mail that like the Unabomber or something? Like we're like the Unabomber of sourdough. we're like the Unabomber, like, here you go. Like we're mailing sourdough chips all around the country.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. Hey, what's up, Doug? How you doing, buddy? It was great seeing you over the weekend.
Doug, we finally got him here.
Yeah, we want to have Doug on. He's originally from Hawaii, and like me, is a fellow conspiracy theorist. So we want to have Doug on. He's well informed about all kinds of things that are kind of alternative news, if you will. And so I would love to also have him talk about, kind of, because growing up in the Midwest, Hawaii was like, we knew like Fantasy Island, and it kind of was like that kind of vibe, it was like magic happens, and obviously it was sunny and beautiful and all the, I'd make some kind of joke about getting laid, but that's probably not appropriate.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Tattoo.
Doug, how many times have you been laid? Just kidding. Is that even what do Hawaiians like go around? Just like they go to someone's house, like they have a potluck, and then it's like you come over and then like everyone brings over, and I don't mean to be disrespectful. If this is some kind of like ceremonial thing that I'm just being a total asshole about, then my apologies. But
probably.
Yeah. Yes, we will, Doug. We're doing this soon. But all right, so Darla, you're down with some conspiracies. What are your favorite ones? Like, what should we spool up? Because Kirsty and I are pretty well versed in most of the rabbit holes.
Well, I mean, talking of Hawaii, I mean, there's a whole ton going on right now, Doug. That's your whole home base, right? Well, your homies are out there. There's stuff going on there, so that's huge already. But right now, I mean, there's tons of things happening all over the place. Did anybody see actually it was a video. It was Melania Trump walking out to some, I don't know what she was doing, addressing the nation in something with a robot next to her walking along. Like, what the hell? Like, it's just really, really bizarre. Like, as if like this is the new normal thing. And I saw something where they were education is gonna turn over to AI, and all our kids are going to be educated by AI. I don't know if I was like looking at some like kind of weird random video that someone made, if it was actually real. I mean, obviously you're not going to find this stuff on the news, but I mean, through my thread, I on my like Facebook, that's usually where all of the reels go through. So I see a lot of strange stuff, and it's hard to validate some of it. Sometimes you don't know if it's real or not, if it's someone.
Yeah.
Putting a video
so where
together.
do you, as a person who seeks out sort of what we'll call alternative news or conspiracy theories, like what are some of your favorite sources? So if someone is motivated to go dig into some of these things, what would you recommend?
Me, or you're asking the public?
Well, everyone. Yeah, how about that? Right? I'll ask you because you're the only one that can answer verbally. And then
it's funny because I think with social media, like if you're a Facebook fan or an Instagram fan or TikTok or whatever, I mean, in general, you're usually, the feed is, you put in the things that you're interested in and that's what you see.
Right.
So I am very aware that I'm somebody that does not watch the news. I'm not interested in mainstream media.
It's all fake anyway. Why would you watch it?
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, again, I'm very aware that the stuff that I get coming through, you feel like that's just normal and everybody is doing that, and actually it's not. Like half the people I know don't even know any of that stuff, so I assume that they do. But I think all you got to do really is just kind of like plug into the topics that you're actually really interested in. You'll see a whole, I mean, if you've got a question about something or you're actually trying to understand what something is, I mean, you just put it in TikTok or Instagram and just put the subject matter in and you'll have a whole host of stuff. I mean, but you just got to use your own discernment really and figure out what's actually.
Yeah, if you don't know what you don't know, if you're kind of starting off, you wouldn't know things like Tartaria or mud flood or, which one of these things are psyops. Or you wouldn't know about Project Mockingbird. You wouldn't know about 9/11. You wouldn't know about, I mean, all kinds of these rabbit holes we can get into, which there's and when I said a minute ago, why would you watch the news? And then I said it's all fake anyway. I'm not saying like from any political standpoint. I know that phrase has been used. I don't think any of the news is reliable anymore. I think it's become so like polarizing that it's not like the old Walter Cronkite of our, early childhood, and definitely like our parents would have grown up here in the US with, that sort of like just the facts and nothing but the facts. It's become everything is like divisive and trying to polarize everything or politicize everything, or push an agenda. And ultimately what I think they want is us all fighting and being at odds with one another, rather than us actually all getting together and go, what the hell are those rat bastards up to?
Yeah.
Because if we all do that, well, then they're in trouble because they're all part of the same club, as George Carlin said, and we ain't in it. So,
well, I mean, I'll wait. I was going to go really deep then. I was like, no, we'll go there afterwards. But it's, yeah, I mean, you, especially now with AI, and the thing I always think about is that whatever it is that is new technology for us now, it's already been around for at least 20 years, like everything, like whether it's cloning or AI or computers, like phones, whatever it is. There used to be a show in the UK, which you wouldn't be familiar with if you didn't live in the UK. It was called Tomorrow's
How dare you assume that about me?
You wouldn't. It was from the BBC. It was very official. It was called Tomorrow's World. And they would...
know it well.
Yeah, exactly. But where's Brendan when you need him? But yeah, Tomorrow's World. I remember as a little kid, I used to watch this, and what they would do is like bring in tech and inventions that will be released in maybe the year 2000, which sounded like space age at the time when I was a little kid. But they showed us fax machines, and they showed us that phones would be able to walk around with no wire and would have screens on, and you could have a machine in your briefcase, and it would be like a mobile typewriter, a computer. I mean, if you go and Google Tomorrow's World, you'll find all those old clips of things that they were telling us would happen in 20, 30 years time, but they already had them. That's why they were showing it to us. Right. And so, silly things like that is like, if we're just seeing AI now going, oh, maybe it's AI or whatever, it's been around forever. I can pretty much assure you. So that's what I always have in the back of my mind is like, I don't even know what's real anymore. Like,
yeah, that's the whole thing, isn't it? Like what is real and what is, and now with AI, that discernment is becoming more and more important, and to question and say, who benefits from this information being out? What are the, sort of dominoes that could fall from this information? So it's, I love it. It's, cause I just find, the mystery of it all. Like, I don't know what it is about it. I hate being lied to. And so even if it's something like, the moon landing, that's something that's been sort of controversial here, especially because they're talking about going back to the moon, but yet somehow they lost all of the information and technology to get to the moon. The moon landing is an easy one that is pretty, I think for most folks, it's kind of vanilla. It doesn't like really enrage anyone to start talking about did the moon landing really happen. And most folks are open to that conversation, but I think cognitive dissonance is a real thing for a lot of people, and just to be like, they need to have that belief system to whatever comfort it gives them, to question it. Like, I'm not saying it did or didn't happen, but just to ask the question. Like, you can see who the open-minded people, the ones who are willing to have a conversation versus the ones who have a complete meltdown about it. It's like, I'm not attacking you personally,
no, but I think what really intrigues me is that everybody nowadays realizes that we have cell phones, we have computers, and we all know and agree to the fact that you have to update the software on your computer, or you have to update your computer and have more memory, or you have to upgrade your phone in order to be able to make things work. So everybody agrees to that, like, oh, we have to keep updating because things are moving forwards. But yet the people that get really, really stuck are the ones that, maybe were educated like 20, 30, 40 years ago, or even 10 years ago from books that were written 10 years before that by professors that are now dead, and still claim that the information that we were taught in schools and books are the absolute facts, and no one can disagree with me. And I know because I got a degree in this, and so I know more than you do, and you're stupid. And it's just like, really? So you don't think that the information has changed over time, and you haven't kept up with that, in whatever industry that you're in. And so for me, it's like, that's where I get frustrated, because I think people have this like this ego, this hubris of, because I have this qualification, I know more than you. And it's like, no, that's what you did like 20 years ago.
Right.
The real fact is that things change all the time. And if you're not curious, and if you're not looking into it, and if you're only watching one channel and you think that that's the only thing that's going to give you the information, then, you know, you're just so shut down, because everyone can learn from everything, and everyone, like, there's so much information around. And what we need to be really good at, I think, is being in tune with our own sort of like nervous systems and using our own discernment, like what actually resonates, what feels right, like what is making sense, you know, like we can tell when our friends and family or kids or co-workers are lying or not quite there, but we're not using that for the much bigger picture, which is where everyone's being kind of like mass hypnosis and stuff, you know, they're being manipulated by stuff. So anyway, that's my little rant about that. So
first of all, I just want to acknowledge that I was quiet for a very long time.
You were. It was impressive.
I listened. I was actively listening. So
maybe we need to have a live podcast on all the time at home, so that we then so we don't interrupt each other. We know what was watched, so we're really well behaved.
What a guy. But I was going to say, like, if you think about like getting a college, like I graduated college in 1995. The stuff that I learned in those books from those professors and in that school at that time, with the pace that technology doubles and the speed that people have access to information now, like I was showing our cell phones, we hold more information in the palm of the access to information. Right. We hold more access to information in the palm of our hands every day than what world leaders and titans of industry had even when we were born, you know? So it's just kind of it just is a different way to go about it. So to your point, like I could be an expert quickly because of YouTube, AI, and with being able to get on forums throughout the world, you can get your own education. I didn't I didn't go to get continuing education as far as like masters and doctorates and all that, but like most of us have, like even sourdough, like I learned it from Sue, like live, but then like I've done a ton of research online, like, hey, how do you tweak this? How do you do that? So, so cool. Jeremy, so what's this about a flying dragonfly that was produced by the government in the 60s? Interesting. I got to look that one up. Right. And Jeremy's saying that they've even admitted that they've changed information in history and banned certain books because it didn't fit their, I guess their B might have gotten cut off with a BS or bullshit. Right, yeah. I mean, the narratives change, right? And then history, who tells the history? The victors of, various wars and so forth get to tell and write the history. And who controls textbooks? Who controls the television and radio? Like, who controls all that stuff? Exactly. Who gets to decide? I'll share a quick story if I can. I used to do a lot of. It'll be quick.
I was going to say, can you?
That's the challenge, isn't it? Let's see what happens on Meets What's in Menopause.
Go for it.
My next challenge. Can I tell a quick story?
I'm listening.
Wait, there's more.
With bated breath.
Right. Okay. Everyone take a drink. All right.
Here comes Joe's story. You could be here a while.
If anyone is a little sleepy, now's the time. Now's the part of the show where you tap out, right?
Cheers, everybody.
Right? So I was I used to be on the news quite a bit I'm a financial professional. For those of you that don't know what I do, I'm a financial planner. I've been in the insurance and financial industry for over 30 some years, whatever. So anyway, I used to be on the news quite a bit, and I had the news. I got to the point where I had built a pretty good relationship with them, and there was the local channel, CBS, which is Channel 5 here in Phoenix, had just reached out and said, hey, can you get a client that has a situation that we're looking for? And they had just purchased an independent channel called Channel 3 here. So independent station, and then Channel 5, CBS, network news, right? So the situation was, we're looking for kind of a human interest story about retirees or someone who is retired that is going through like credit card challenges. So this is about, the point being, and where I'm headed with this, is about manipulation and how they want the story to go. I can only imagine what's happening, so I'm just trying to focus on the story here. Quickly. So same reporter, same cameraman, same client, and then me there sort of kind of being on standby, to help guide it and facilitate it. For Channel 3, which was the independent one, that was more the feel-good human interest story, right? And so with that one, they're like, share with us, like, and she had the same situation. Her situation didn't change. She had some credit card debt. It was causing some financial distress, cash flow challenges. And so when they aired the show on Channel 3, it was, she's going to make it. It's going to be fine. She's got these resources that are going to help her, and she's going to be okay. The Channel 5, the network one, again, same lady, same interviewer, everything was the same. The way they edited it was, right, she's in real trouble. Not sure she's gonna make it. This poor lady is a mess. And it was like, this is the same damn story. Just like, right. and to on one hand be like, everything's kumbaya, everything's gonna be fine. And then the other one's like, she might as well just give up, like it's the point is the facts were the facts. But the way they portrayed the facts is, and that's just some little feel good story at the end of the news. It's like, the fireman got the cat or the kitten out of the tree kind of stuff. That's not world events that shape political stuff. It's not like, what is it? Project Mockingbird. The CIA was actually where they intentionally were trying to manipulate, and I don't know, the word brainwash would be the right one, but that's basically what it is, right? So. Yep.
It's still going on right now. I mean, there's those videos, if you've seen it. Somebody just released another one recently where all you got to do is go to all the different TV channels on the newscasting. And when you play them all together, there's like hundreds of them all across America or the UK or wherever you want. And they're all saying exactly the same lines. So they're given their narrative of what they have to talk about on current affairs. Like, it's all coming from the same place. And people are sitting there with bated breath thinking this is real. I mean, I never, you know the story, the whole 9/11 thing. I mean, I remember, and some of the people here might remember this.
Trigger warning.
Yeah, well, no, but I remember this so distinctly because I was actually in hospital with emergency surgery, and I just come out of it, and I was lying on the hospital bed, like with the TV in my room, and I had all the doctors and nurses around me when 9/11 happened, and we were watching it on the screen, thinking like, well. I'm like jumping ahead already. I'm like, it looked very real at the time. I really thought it was happening live. And then there's that English lady reporter that was literally talking about Building 7 and how it's come down, and it's still standing up behind it before it came down. So it's like, why would you be giving this information to, and you try and find that clip on the internet now, because it disappeared, it got taken down. And I think some people have still got it, which you can look at. And I mean, just things like that, even way back then. Nobody's denying that something didn't happen. It's just, how did it play out and what was the storyline that was fed to you? It's so manipulative.
Yeah, and it's a tragedy. I mean, 3,000 plus Americans died that day, and so nobody's saying that didn't happen.
Right.
What is unfortunate is if you blame another culture that didn't do it, like the black box didn't survive, but the passport magically floated perfectly for them to find the passports of the would-be.
Right. Oh, we found the bombers. Oh, is that possible?
Well, and they ended up being alive. Did you ever see that?
New York's destroyed.
I know. This is like this is
a show in itself.
Dax is like, it's not hard to find. So Dax, if you got it, shoot it on over, bro.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah.
This is kind of wild stuff. So yeah, and it's like, why do they want to? What came after that? The Patriot Act came after that, which was basically forget your Bill of Rights. A lot of your freedoms that had been granted to Americans were stripped, and so that's why they would do something like that: power, control, and money. Right. So.
And it's everything that ever happens. Like, every single thing you see on the news that is there to scare you is problem, reaction, solution. The people that create the problems have the solution. They just they got to get your thinking there. I mean, it literally is mass formation hypnosis. I am a hypnotherapist. Like, that's actually what you do, is like, to get people to believe something, you have to confuse the brain. And that's how you can do things like, catalepsy, and put people out to sleep immediately. You just tap them, you just throw people in confusion in a single moment and issue a command, and their brains will literally follow the command. And so any huge, massive worldwide thing, like whether it's a school shooting or a bombing or a what do you call it, a pandemic, anything like that, it's like fear, 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 throw everyone into confusion, like put just different stories going on, everyone's confused, and all of a sudden issue a command, because everybody is looking for like, who do we follow, what do we do, like oh my god, and everyone's freaking out, and then it's like bam, and that's when they'll throw in a new law or a new way of being or a new thing that they want to usher in. And that's how it works. Like, it's,
well, look what's
when
going
you
on.
know that and you see it, it's so obvious, right? So to me, it's like, stand back and just like watch it. If you watch it all happen, you don't have that fear anymore. You just don't.
So to Jeremy's point here about look what's going on with Iran right now, and that's
right.
that's very layered.
Mm-hmm.
But when you do look at what's going on with Iran right now, what's been popping up in my feed with this stuff is basically like energy crisis.
Right.
We're all going to have, and
the lockdowns again.
Yes. And these are all real. But it's all part of the bigger agenda. Like, if you ever looked into like Project 2030 and some of the 15-minute city stuff and all these, where they want to keep people very localized and in their little control grid. They don't want free moving people to go moving about. They want everyone, kind of in their little spot, which might be a little too much for some of you just tuning in to listen to sourdough, but
But no, it's true, because now look at, I said to you today, I was just looking at flights for Canada, and everything has doubled and tripled immediately because of the fuel crisis. But then that takes you down another road, because then you start looking at airplanes and how much fuel do they actually use?
Yeah.
And free energy. And if you go down those rabbit holes, you start to be like, oh my gosh, like, any excuse to freak the people out. So now no one can travel. Now no one can fly. No one can afford anything. We have Melania walking in with the robot because everything's going to be AI. You got to work from home. Can't go anywhere. Like, I'm feeling this a lot. It's just a lot of stuff. So I just kind of like turn it off.
And go, playing Joe Biden.
Yeah.
Right. All the stuff. Right. So like, Dax, maybe you since you're the person who can find videos. There's the videos of like how much fuel goes into a jet plane, and it's like these big giant, like 10,000 gallons would look like this, and it's a big giant like storage tank, right? And like that amount of fuel is supposed to fit in the wings of the plane,
right?
And then it's crazy, and only certain companies are allowed to build the jet engines, like Boeing. So, well,
and that's just it, because that goes to the whole point. And I don't know the truth. I'm just going to say right now, like, I don't know the answers, but these are really curious questions and good points, right? Because there's the whole other thing, like the people that sort of argue about whether NASA is real, space is real, all of that. Is it? I don't know.
We're talking flat Earth. Are we going to go to flat Earth right now?
Well, no. What I was saying is more to the point that there are people that dispute whether space is even real, if we've never left the Earth, if it is flat, if it is round, if NASA is just a massive agency. Why does NASA have such a huge bill apparently for helium? Because satellites aren't real; they're just helium balloons that are floating around the Earth, and actually all of our satellite communication is actually under the ocean. I mean, there's so many things, and I'm not saying that any of these things are true. They're just things that I've looked into. And it was actually kind of funny, really. I'll just be really honest about this. I remember my daughter was joking around with me like years back about being a flat earther, and I was laughing with her. Like, all right, I said, I will go and research this, and then we'll have a discussion about it. And in my research, looking into it, because I got curious, and I'm like
you were taking the position of flat Earth is bullshit, and you're like,
right,
you're being
totally
crazy.
And the more I looked into it, the more I was like, well, I'm like, that's it, actually, like, this is a really good argument. Like, this is really, and so then I'm like, I don't even know what's real anymore. Like, I'm so aware, of like the fact that we've been told so many things. Like, I am so open-minded and happy to discuss absolutely anything, but I don't have the hubris to be able to stand there and go, I know all the facts and I'm actually correct, and I'm going to call you all stupid and tell you that you're wrong. I just wouldn't do that, because I don't know. Because here's where I sit. The reality is, unless I have physically left the planet myself and seen it for myself, I don't know, because I don't even trust and believe what anyone on any side is telling me right now. What do I know to be true? My own body, what's in my room. I know my dog is in here. I know who you are. I know who my kids are. I know who our family and friends are, and so on, because I can touch that, feel that, talk to those people. But again, if someone just sends me, a video, you just don't even know if it's real anymore. You don't know. So I'm not going to be starting putting people down and telling them that they're wrong. I can't possibly know what's happening in Iran right now. I'm just watching the feeds. I mean, who knows?
Yeah. Well, I think one of the things to be mindful is just follow the money and follow who benefits from it, and then be open minded and have discernment. Like I wouldn't. Here's where I get with it. Like what I saw, like what we saw during COVID, where people became very strongly opinionated about the vax or not about the vax, or the political powers that be and everything, all those different areas of it. Like the part that was most probably upsetting to me was just that there were family members that were disowning other family members. There were best of friends that were like basically saying, fuck off, I don't want to be friends with you anymore. And it's like, you can't, like, it got to where people became so emboldened and so radicalized, if you will, whatever side, both sides are guilty.
Yeah, based on what they thought they knew, according to their facts, fact checking. And it's like, you're just totally being manipulated yourself.
It's like, imagine having a relationship. Like it's like a parent or your kid or your best friend of 30 years. You're like, well, fuck you. I'm not gonna be your friend anymore because you will or won't take the jab. It's like everyone should have the right to just choose what they feel comfortable with. And I know that's a very, that may be a controversial stance to take, but we're not here to sugarcoat shit. So, I mean, we're like, that's the stuff that I think we need to be mindful of as things unravel as we move forward. I think that was just the like dress rehearsal. I think the stuff that's coming is where we need more discernment, right? I mean, look at the food stuff. There's so many layers to this stuff.
I mean, that's the thing though. That's the question is, did you learn your lesson? I mean, when you date someone and it didn't work out, do you just go and date another person immediately? Or do you pause and go, okay, what did I learn from this? How could I be better? What lessons did I learn? What do I need to look out for next time? I mean, that's just on a simple, basic level. So when you have a massive thing that happens in society that just freaks, and 2020 was that. I mean, I lost family members like that. It was just, it got crazy and it was very hurtful. Yeah. And, I won't go into it too much, but like it really showed me.
I almost said something, but I decided not to.
It didn't matter like who's wrong and who's right. It's like, why are you believing this stuff that you absolutely can't verify as true? Like, don't you see that there's two sides to this, or three sides, or four sides, or five sides? But you're sticking to one. And you're willing to lose me as a family member or as a friend based on these things. And I'm not willing to do that at all. I think our relationship is more important. I'm willing to put that by the by and just go, whatever we believe really doesn't matter. We don't actually know what's happening right now. Right. But what's important is humanity. And that's the whole point of these exercises, is to break people down. It's like divide and conquer, make people weak, keep them in fear. Because then, if people are scared and running around in all lots of, different directions, they're not going to club together and come together and overpower the powers that be. And that's the whole point. Everything is purposely set out to be divisive. Politics is divisive. It's the same, like politicians are just puppets. Like they give you the illusion of being two sides.
Like
it's just
they're
not.
like NASCAR drivers. They're just whoever their lobbyists. Yeah, they're
it's nothing. Yeah. And so
they don't really have any real power. I mean, they've got sort of perceived power, but it's not like actual real power. And I was going to say something I forgot now about kind of where you're at with all that stuff. Just the relationships and the. Oh, I was going to say that, like, even if you disagree, for me, for how I feel, and I think you correct me if I'm wrong. For this podcast and for the purposes of conversation, like, we have opinions and we have beliefs and feelings, but it doesn't mean because we disagree with whoever might disagree with us. This isn't like a place to like go bash people. It's like we want this to be like the town hall, whether it be about this or silly stuff that we talk about, or I hate sourdough, I love sourdough, I think the moon landing was fake, I think 9/11 was an inside job, whatever it might be. Like, the conversation is what is the sizzle to the steak. If you ask me, like, I like that part of it. And I don't learn anything if I stay in my echo chamber, and I don't learn anything if I just stay around like-minded people that only agree with me. The way that we learn and expand our worldview is by being around people that do challenge us and that do say, well, what about this? You go, I hadn't heard that before. Well, maybe I need to go think about that. Like,
that's where you really impressed me during COVID, because I think I could get a little hot-headed and reactive. You were very calm, and you always encourage people, like on social media, to be able to have a conversation. And I think that's where you're much better at me in debating things, because you can keep your calm and you can intelligently speak to both sides and I tend to just go off. Like, that was impressive to me. I was like, I learned from that. I was like, all right, I just, now I realize that if I'm triggered, that's about me. It's not about anybody else. But it was just very hard to even exist for the longest time. And you've always been about, like, let's have the conversation. And it's true, because, in any situation that you're triggered by, if you can learn to be curious rather than dismissive or critical about something, like, you don't know, like, there's 8 billion people in the world. We all have our own individual brain. We all have different thoughts. We have different feelings, emotions, backgrounds, everything. So we're all going to respond differently. But, like, the government will come in and throw an idea out. And there's people that just go, oh, we just got to follow the government and do everything they say. And then, or you just look at the government and go, okay, well, they're suggesting something. Does that make sense to me and my life and my family and how I live it? Because I am a free, sovereign being. Like, I get to make my own choices. If I don't want to put my kids in school, if I don't want to take this medical procedure, if I don't want to do this job, I don't have to. Or do I? Because when you start to realize that actually everything we're doing is governed and we are pushed down and we are being forced and bribed and paid or told, if you don't do this, this will happen to you. That's not free will. And I can't believe that people can't see that.
God gives you free will, but the government doesn't. Like, okay, well, the government
if you're put in a position where your religion or your boss or whoever is forcing you to make a decision that's going to hurt you and harm you and upset you and break up your family, and they can't see that's not healthy. That's not free will. So
for sure. I'm going to have a little pattern interrupt here just for a smart ass moment. Brad does not like the Bears or the Cubs. We were talking about being friends with people and being respectful, even if you have a different opinion. This one might be kind of thin ice here, Brad.
So you're not friends anymore?
Never. No. We're lifelong friends. I'm not going anywhere, Brad. You can't get rid of me just because you like shitty teams. It's all right. Wow. Yeah. So yes, we could still be friends. Anyway, so I hear you. I hear what you're saying. And sorry, I was just about to show the same one. This is a great point, Darla. Like, even think about school, and you think about the institution of school, and like the way that kids were raised and grew up even 100 years ago versus the way schools are now. If you look at like a school bus or a prison bus, how different are they? One's yellow, one's white. You look at a school, it's all like, most of them are pretty, like, kind of like, just, it feels institutional. Your brick buildings with, fluorescent lighting, and like, you will raise your hand and you will sit in a straight row. And like, what if kids got to just explore and find their natural talents? Like, listen, I sucked at algebra. I just was terrible at algebra. I got an F in algebra 2 when I was a sophomore in high school. I'm in the financial industry. I work with math all day, every day. So I'm not bad at math. I'm just bad at making numbers equal letters. It's just my weak. It's my weak spot. So, and I'm also not really good with like super technical, like technology stuff, but there's people in the world that are excellent at that. Robert, who's not on here tonight, it doesn't look like, this guy like can fix anything. Like, he's like, he'll look at something and be like, oh, I can fix that. And it's like, I just marvel at that kind of people who can fix things. I push papers around and make, my whatever. It's like, but everyone has their gift with it. If you were to say, like, look at a tax return and tell me what's going on there, a lot of people would freak out, or they'd say, look at a financial statement and make that make sense. Like, for me, that's just going to work. Everyone's got their skill set, but schools make square pegs fit into round holes. And it's to me, there's indoctrination involved with that, because you've got, trust authority, don't question authority. Your teacher's your authority, your principal's your authority. You get kids out of the house, crack ass at dawn. You have them sit there all day when they really want to be outside playing. They really want to be climbing trees and playing in the woods and all that kind of stuff down by the creek. See what I did there? I'm from the country. I'm from the country.
I don't understand that.
It's a crick. Yeah, I'm getting a little soapboxy here, so I needed a little levity here. So anyway,
no, but you're right, because it's like, kids are sponges, Like they pick up things so quickly. And that was the whole point of the education agenda, like years back, was like catch them while they're young, you know, take them away from the parents and let's indoctrinate them with what, and you know that happens because if you are in the education system, you know that depending on which government is in, the agendas will change in terms of what you'll be teaching at school. I know a whole bunch of my friends are teachers, and on both sides of you know, policies and so on, you know, different sides of it, and go through this transition all the time. So you know, so then you're like, okay, well then take my kids out of school and I'll teach them, and then suddenly you're ostracized for that. But you know, when COVID happened, suddenly that all changed everything. But it's just a mishmash. And I think the biggest thing for me, like what, you know, the people that I work with a lot of the time, you know, like just feel like they've lost their sense of freedom and who they are, and they're stuck in, you know, like relationships that don't work for them, they're stuck in jobs that don't work for them, they're unhappy at parenting or being a kid or of a parent or whatever, and they're just lost. And the reason they're lost is because they've forgotten who they are when they were born, like, and what actually genuinely you know, excited them, what they were passionate about before they were told by their caregivers, you know, no, you can't say that because, you know, because of whatever their indoctrination is. And then they go into the school system, and then the school's telling them what they can and can't do. And then they go into the workforce, and that's telling them what they can and can't do. And they're taking on debt, and they're, oh no, you've got to get married, you've got to get a job, you've got to get a car, you've got to do all these things. And before you know it, you're just like, oh my God, I have all this responsibility, and now I'm having a nervous breakdown. And so, you know, my marriage is going to break up because I want some freedom. So I'm going to go and buy a sports car or have an affair or whatever. I mean, all this shit that we go through is because of these systems. And when
that's the pharmaceuticals, I need some, right? I need some relief, right? So
right, and so that's what feeds it all. And when I sit down with these people and they're just telling me like, I feel like I've lost control, it's like, you just forgot who you were. So you have to kind of like undo everything. And I think that's what happens as we get old. We start not caring about shit. Like that's when you
you go through this whole phase. Like you're a kid, you don't give a shit about anything because you're just a kid out being a kid. And then you get indoctrinated into like, you got to get the job and all the things you just talked about, get married, have your 2.5 kids, all that stuff.
Right.
Then you get to a certain point, midlife, hence the midlife crisis. And then you're like, well, fuck it. I don't need to keep doing this same nonsense because I'm not getting it. It's not fulfilling me the way that I thought it would, or the way I was told it would. So you start breaking loose, and some people go really crazy, and, you know, go off the deep end and whatever. But, you know, but the rest of us kind of reflect and go, you know what? Maybe the things that drove me when I was in my 20s aren't as important as I thought they were, like the car, the house, that kind of stuff. Maybe it's the relationships. Maybe it's these things. For me, like, it was experiences. Like I went from like wanting shit to having experiences. So I would much rather drive a more regular car and travel more or work less because I just enjoy experiences. And so that's what my kids, when we do Christmas stuff, a lot of times it's experience driven, you know, or if we do gifts of sort of like, I would rather go to save up and do a nice dinner or something. So anyway, speaking of the kids, both Jillian and Sadie have joined the conversation. So welcome, ladies. Appreciate it. I love what Dax is saying here too, because this is part of the like interestingness of conversation online is that if you're just bringing stuff up like, hey man, like I challenge your flat earth belief and it turns someone triggered and angry, it's like, then I guess you're not like, it shouldn't trigger you.
This like, is actually, no, it's a really good point, Dax. So thanks for bringing this up, because I work with people that get triggered, and, you know, people that are like, are in fear or anxiety or whatever, and they just kind of want to get out of that and have peace and happiness. And one of the things, you know, people are like, oh, nothing pisses me off, I'm not triggered, I don't have any healing to do. I'm like, okay, here's a task for you. Go online and go and join a Facebook group or a Reddit group or whatever of the opposite of your beliefs. So if you're a Democrat, go join a Republican one. If you're a Republican, yeah, exactly. Okay. Or if you are pro-vax, go into an anti-vax group, or, you know, pro-Trump,
anti-Trump, if you're Christian, like whatever. And you go into like a Jewish or Muslim,
whatever it is, go join the opposite group of all the things that you believe to be true in your life, and see how triggered you get. Because your triggers, you know, are showing you where you need to heal, and you'll find that immediately. Because if you think everything's great and you've got nothing to process or whatever, like we all do, we're just human beings. Because that's what happens when someone or something challenges our beliefs about what we think is true. it all comes up, right? Like that's what we're fighting for, and everyone's just triggered right now. Everyone all over the world. That's why people are like, I can't watch the news anymore, because the news has gone to like left and right. I mean, I said this before. I think in America, everything is so divided, like more so than I've ever noticed. Like I'm English and I lived in Canada for 23 years, and I've never noticed so much politics as I do in the States. It's almost like you meet someone and they want to know immediately like what side you're on, or they can tell what side you're on. And I'm not on any side because I don't do politics, period. But that's what happens. And then once somebody's like, well, I really like this person, they're really cool, but I just found out like they're Republican, or I just found out they're liberal or whatever, and now I can't be friends with them. And it's like, that's a real shame, because if that's defining who you are, then I understand why you wouldn't be able to get along with them, because it's hard. Like it's hard to have a conversation without those beliefs coming in. But it's like,
well, we saw a lot with like Trump, right? Like it's like, if you like Trump, then someone would immediately be like, well, if you like Trump, that means, and then there's this list, and it's almost like it's a script that you just would know, like someone who doesn't like Trump is going to say, vice versa the other way. Like if you didn't like Trump and you had your person, whether it was Biden or Kamala or whoever, it was like, well, if you like those people, then that means you like these things. Like, no, maybe not. Maybe there's some room for in the middle of like, I like some things here and I like some things there. And like, I don't like, for me personally, I haven't felt represented politically in a long time, because I tend to be like, you guys leave me the fuck alone. I want to go do what I want. Just less is more. And I'm not into all of the tropes that a lot of the political pundits want to talk about. So like, I'm really more of a libertarian, in other words, not the like crazy ones where they want to like have complete anarchy and shit. I'm more like just constitutionalist, like small government, but modernized, which is probably another whole show. But I just feel like raise responsible people, create responsible people that are citizens of the country and of the world, and don't radicalize people with, news sources and such. That, I mean, look at all the stuff with social media and the stuff our kids are going through, and the young kids they're being attacked in a way that you and I and most, Gen Xers and boomers, we didn't have to deal with all of this, like, constant stuff. Like we had space and
our
peace.
Kids have lost friends over this stuff. Like all the things that have happened in the last like 6 years, since the year 2020, basically. All of our kids have like lost friends or followers or whatever, because they had a certain view on whatever was going on, whether it's the war or whether it was the COVID or politics or whatever. And it's just like, it's just so like, to me, I think what I've really because I used to get very triggered as well. And what I've learned now is well, you trigger me. And I'm still learning. But no, I mean, in general, I think the answer is to get curious, because everybody can teach you. And it's like, the more I disagree with someone, what I'm like really trying to work on is like, instead of getting annoyed and getting my back up and wanting to snap back at them, is to get curious. Like, really? You believe that? All right, help me understand. Tell me exactly why you believe that. And I'm really not to say it to like make them wrong, is like, I have to keep that in check. And what I'm trying to find out is like, why would you
so I'm going to give an example.
Talk to me, share, and I want to listen.
I'm going to give you an example of where that lived for me. An example of that would be during COVID, when it was everyone had to wear a mask and everyone was freaking out, and you'd go to a restaurant, right? And it's like, I know. So in Arizona, we opened up here sooner than a lot of other places, but so you'd be wearing a mask, and then you'd go, and there's a couple examples of this. The most egregious one was when we were in San Diego that one time, and we came to the hostess stand, which was outside on the beach. Like literally, the restaurant was 50 yards from the water. Fresh ocean air is blowing in from the ocean. And this was before California was allowed to have anyone inside the restaurant. You can only sit outside.
Right.
We had to put our mask on to go into the restaurant from the hostess stand, to go basically around this like little post, and then sit down at the table that was, for me, like basically arm's reach from the hostess stand. But when we were sitting down, we were able to take our masks off so we could eat. I'm like, I'm really struggling with the logic on this one because
it only gets you if you're standing, not if you're sitting down. It only gets you if
you're, and there's other restaurant examples too. But
even though when you sit down, because you're very tall, you're as tall as the hostess standing up. So you're the same height, but you're sitting and standing, so you don't have to wear a mask, but she does.
Yeah, that was the high top at a local restaurant here in Arizona.
This is like really scientific.
Yeah. It's just, in different countries, you stand 6 feet apart. No, listen, we took it serious. We were like, hey, at first we were like, let's not, be stupid. But like, as the information was kind of unraveling, it started getting to be like, this logically isn't making sense. So it still to this day hasn't been explained, but I'm sure I'm missing something to some. So anyway, I just don't like being told what to do either. So it's another personality flaw of mine is I tend to sort of be a contrarian. Like if you say up, I'm going to go,
can you wear your mask down? No, of your mouth. Oh,
it hasn't always worked for me. I'm just saying, like, yeah. Anyway, but yeah, I think it's cool to have the conversation. And honestly, we didn't anticipate this sort of kicking off the way it did. I would love to bring more conspiracy theory nest to this podcast because it's really one of my favorite, like between like Cubs baseball or baseball in general, sports, I guess, but and conspiracy theories are right up there with things that interest me and are intriguing. Family, friends, relationships. Of course, sourdough, but sourdough has gotten a lot of attention the first 10 weeks of Meat Sweats and Menopause.
Right. So Dax is saying that's wildly irresponsible. I think you're talking about the mask stuff. They shouldn't have opened the restaurant yet. And to your point, open the restaurant or don't. There's either a pandemic or there isn't. It's either dangerous or it isn't, but you can't have both. And when there's both and there's only rules for some people and not for others, that's when you know it's bullshit. It's the same thing. Like, it was like, it's either life-threatening or it isn't. So everyone follows or nobody does. You can't have like different
when you
limits.
See world leaders getting on planes and you see like they're at their conferences and stuff that they go to. Absolutely, Darla. You got homework to do. Start digging in. Let's get some good conspiracy theories going. Like top 5 favorite, like Letterman used to do. Top 10, like we can do that. I think the and Doug he was at work when he first came on. I'm not sure if he's still on, but he sent a thing, and this is just kind of to jump in, and this is where I think like where I get to where I don't like being told what to do is because if you don't check the power of people, it's like the bully that runs the playground. If somebody doesn't stand up to the bully, then they're just going to keep being an asshole bully. And so, as we mentioned earlier, Doug's from Hawaii. He just sent me this news post that was about Hawaii is putting forth a bill that would allow the government to quarantine people, enter property without permission, seize firearms, and suspend laws. And it's all like through the governor is the sole judge. Like that's the shit. Like our country is not based on this at all.
Reaction, solution. Let's create a flood. Nobody can do anything about it. We're told what to do, and the solution is that this is what we're going to put in place, and everybody has no choice but to just follow. Like
and that's not what our country. Yeah, when you know the script, when you like, for people who've been observing this stuff for as long as we have, like. You do start seeing the script. You're like, oh, look, they're going to try and scare everyone. Then everyone's going to be like, oh, I need the government to protect me. Like, there's not much in the way of personal responsibility. They give up all their freedoms and sovereignty in the name of safety. And life isn't safe. Like there are times when life is risk, like that's not saying you need to go be stupid and not make, reasonable decisions, but you get in the car. Every time you get in the car, you're taking a risk. Every time you cross the street, you're taking a risk. And I just don't live my life in constant fear and needing to be protected. And I will stand by the consequences.
You just hit the nail on the head there. Yeah, you hit the nail on the head. It's fear. When you keep people in fear, their nervous systems are on edge. And so people are edgy, and they're either, and it's like, they don't want you fighting the government. They want you fighting each other. So in every catastrophe or disaster that they create, it's to get people afraid and not know what to do. And then the government comes in and it's like, here's the answer. This is what we're going to do. We're going to protect you. And everyone's like, oh, okay. And they all want to, and it's just like, oh my God, like use your brain. Like it's the same pattern over and over and over again. If you just, hindsight is brilliant, as you know, you just look back on it and think of every major disaster and look at what bill was trying to be pushed at the time. Like every time they want to ban guns and collect guns in, there'll be a school shooting. Like there'll be something there, right? That's what they do. I never saw that. I'm from England, Europe. I'm from Canada. So I've spent except for the last 2 years, most of my life in non-gun countries. It's not legal to have a gun unless it's like a licensed shooting gun or something like that. So we don't have weapons. And so that's how I've been raised and grown up. I don't think you need them. I was very, very anti-gun until I realized history and looked back on that. And Joe helped me understand that. And when I started to see it, I was like, oh my God, when you rewind and see what happened, it's like we literally over in Europe and Canada don't have any power against the government because they've taken all of our weapons away. So we can't retaliate and go forwards. The only place that is okay with that is the US. And there's just lots of different, I'm not like pro or anti anything. I'm just like seeing the logic of it. And I just could never see that because everything I've been raised to think was different. Yeah, exactly. But you don't see that until you really step back and get curious and are willing to hear what other people have to say and understand the logic. So, yeah.
Yeah. And I think that whole narrative has been, it's a very controversial one, obviously. And I respect people. If someone doesn't want to have a gun or they don't like guns, I totally respect that. But my grandpa hunted, and there were guns just up on a gun rack in his office. It wasn't scary. It wasn't like, oh, that big bad gun up there. It was just it was just a tool, and we were taught when we were kids, you just never touch it, and it was not something it never crossed our mind. We didn't have school shootings and stuff like that when we were growing up, and yet everyone in my hometown, the vast majority of the people in my hometown, were either in a home with guns or very closely associated with them. So it was not a scary thing. It was just like getting in a car, it was like no big deal. It's just a tool. So wait, which part of so did you just bring that up? Exactly.
I did.
Conspiracy peddlers keep their followers afraid and coming to them for information. Are you talking about the federal government, Dax, or?
It's the same process. Again, two wings of the same bird. Like it's just like if you want people to keep coming to believe in you, in your cult, whatever your cult is, whichever, and it can be anything. That's it. Keep people in fear. I mean, that's how it works, and that method is used on both sides. Donna says here, Trudeau's most stated comment, keeping Canadians safe. I can't even say his name without wanting to do the vomit sign. It's just
right.
It's like so unbearable. He's a joke.
I would not trust him to keep me safe.
Right? After he ran away, because a bunch of truckers were tooting their horns and he wasn't allowed, he
wouldn't even come out. He wouldn't even come out and talk to him and just have a conversation. Come on, dude. Not saying you have to agree with whatever, but just come have a conversation. You're their elected official. Come have a conversation. So,
and that's what all of this is about. It's like keep people. I mean, we've got all those policies going, and about people getting arrested for posting on Facebook and stupid shit like that. It's already happening in the UK.
Isn't that scary?
To Canada, it's insane.
Isn't that scary? Like, you go to jail because
probably get shut down on this podcast.
Hey, we had a good. We made it to double-digit episodes,
right?
So we just ask questions. We don't have any hard answers. We're just observing.
Yeah, exactly.
Just giving Dax a chance to get through here. I'm just pointing out the hypocrisy of conspiracy theorists crying fear mongering when they're for sure. Yeah, like let's just use like the biggest of them all, Alex Jones, and it's like World War III. It's very. Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, it's fear to like let's go to him for information for how to survive, buy my vitamins and all these kinds of things, right?
Yeah, so, it's tried and tested method. That's what they do. Yeah.
Agreed. I think, and again, we're two wings of the same bird, is what you said, Kirsty, and I think it's kind of the same idea. Is like we just, if it's kind of wild. We go to Mexico quite a bit, as everyone's probably heard through our podcast here. When we go to Mexico, we're on the beach. We're just like we tune out, and guess what? We still breathe air. We walk the beach. We go, and it's like when you just turn the shit off, it does calm the RPMs, and it does make it just there's more tranquility, I find, and that could be spending time, with your kids or with your loved ones. It could be going out with your buddies. It could be playing softball or taking a bike ride or just hiking, whatever it is you're into. Like we need to be more about that kind of stuff, because being in a loop of just constant fear porn on the TV and on our devices is I just don't think that's long-term good for us. But
well, no, because I mean, your thoughts create feelings. Your feelings create, like, your nervous system reacts to your feelings, and that's what puts you into stress. So all of these things is like, if we can keep control of our thoughts and we can keep control of resetting our nervous system, then we're in the present. Like we're aware, we're with that. And that's why, like, that's what you call grounding, if you want to start going down that route. But grounding is like, being balanced, being able to reset, being able to see, being not in fight or flight. And all of those things come from having conversations, being with your family, doing what you love, like being with your loved ones and so on. Like, that's what's important. But they'll take control of your brain. If you put your brain into your computer or onto your TV screen, it's going to be taken away. It's like watching a horror movie. Right. It's just like, you're like, and it's not real. But, if you hear a noise outside, you're going to freak the hell out, because Sure. Suddenly your brain doesn't know the difference between what is real and what isn't. So it's all about what's put into your head. And if we got two methods of being, input and output, right? What comes in and how we react to it. And so if all of your input is online, is on a certain TV channel, and you're not exploring that, and you're not looking to find balance and recognizing that there's lots of different points of view here. One of the examples I always use, like with my clients, for instance, like people that get really stressed and anxious, is like, if you're someone you care about, whether it's your partner, your kid, a friend, or whatever, says, I'll be there at 6 o'clock, and they don't show up at 6. What is your mental state? Like, do you start immediately freaking out? Where are they? What must have happened? Did they have an accident? Like, or if it's your partner, like, he's not here, he must be having an affair, he must be with that woman, or or are you calling the hospitals? Or do you not even realize that it's 6 o'clock and it's not until 6:30? You suddenly go, hang on a minute, wasn't someone coming over? Like that. If
it's you, I would say, if you say you're going to be there at 6, I wouldn't even start looking for you until 6:30. So it just depends on different people, like people who are constantly punctual and like I'm if I'm on time, I'm late. Those types of folks, I would be maybe a little more heightened and like, well, that's weird. Normally, whoever is here by this time. Right. But for people who are just kind of like, I'll get there when I get there. I wouldn't. I think so. I think it depends. Right?
So that's not about you, and we're not talking about time. I'm just literally sharing that people have to be aware of their mental state and how easily they get triggered and manipulated by things that are happening, because it's all about our nervous state.
Opinion. It's like when people have an opinion about a point you're making, about how they get triggered,
how they take it away and then move like away from the point you're making. You have to keep going in circles and
did you know that Brad and Darla sleep with a grounding sheet?
So do I. So do you. Look, we're trying really hard.
Yeah, no, it's. Yeah. I definitely think there's something to that. Like when you just, for those of you that may not know what this is, it's the whole idea of like when you step on the earth, that it's all electromagnetic, and the whole like walking on the beach with your bare feet or in the grass, just those kinds of things are like really good for you to ground, and it just diffuses all that sort of electromagnetic buildup. Right.
Yeah, it's connecting to nature and the natural harmonics and the natural vibration of the earth and what's going on, because everything is a distraction to take you away from that, so that you do feel anxious and nervous and weak. And when you're anxious and nervous and weak, guess what? You're really easily controlled, because
you get sick and you got to go get. You get sick and then you need pharmaceuticals. So look at like all the 5G stuff and all the things in our water and food and all that stuff. It's
totally.
It is pretty wild. So we didn't even get into any of the stuff that we kind of thought we were going to get into. This has been great. This has been a fun episode for me. Next time I do, Darla, be prepared for resets next time. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, so resets. Next week we can talk about resets.
Yeah, all right. I'll make a note of that. We had a whole list of what we wanted to talk about. We haven't talked about any of it because it just got so fun and exciting. So I know that a couple of people tuned in for specific things we didn't get to. So I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, well, that's what we call in the business. That's what we call the tease. And we'll have them back next week just to keep our ratings up.
Absolutely. Cool.
All right. So, wow, that hour plus went very quick, and appreciate everyone's feedback, input, comments, and participation. Because, like I said at the beginning of the show, like this is audience driven. So we have a lot of passion for connecting with everyone, and this has just been it's been a great episode. So. Any parting comments or thoughts? Anything you'd like to close with?
Yeah, the way these comments come through, they don't seem to come through consistently. It's like there's nothing for about 5 minutes, and then all of a sudden there's a big dump. So I don't know how YouTube does that. So if you've been commenting and it's not on there, I apologize. But
yep, no worries. Yeah, we do our best to keep everyone flowing. Thanks for the folks that have showed up for the first time. Doug, it was great, and for all of our repeat folks that show up, just love the conversation, and look forward to more. So if you've got any ideas, or if you'd like to join the show, we still would be open to any of those opportunities, because just listening to us flap our gums for an hour.
And if you don't want to do video, you can do audio too. We can just like bring you in as a voice, and you can chat with whatever the subject is. So if video is not your thing, that's fine too. So yeah.
Yeah, and it's 10 o'clock. Do you know where your kids are? It's 10 o'clock. Yeah. That was the worst commercial, but it was the best. So
right.
Great. Well, you want to take us out, and we'll see you all next week. And if you guys do have strong opinions about times and all that kind of stuff, we've gone with the 6 o'clock Arizona time. Arizona didn't change time a couple weeks ago, so we shifted, and now we're 3 hours behind the East Coast, 2 hours behind the Midwest, 2 hours behind Calgary. 1 hour behind Calgary, and so we're basically the same time as California. So if anyone has any thoughts on that, we're open to listen. But look forward to chatting with you all next week.
Cool. Thanks so much, guys. Good to see you. We'll see you next week. Ready? Goodbye.